Dark road. Roy Harper didn't like country roads. They exuded something primal, eerily desolate. When the navigator suggested shortening the route to Oak Hill through these backwoods, he hesitated at first but decided to take the risk. It was already late, the night was closing in, and he still had about 50 miles to go. The road wound between hills, snaking like a serpent through dark fields and sparse groves. The headlights of his old Ford picked out the road, the edges, and sometimes, something strange. The first thing that unsettled Roy was a silhouette flickering in the rearview mirror. Tall, thin, almost transparent. It appeared for just a second, but made his heart clench. Maybe a trick of the shadows. The wind howled through the trees and he told himself it was just fatigue. A few miles later, he saw a figure standing by the roadside. An old man in a long coat, hunched over, his face hidden in shadow. Roy slowed down, ready to offer help, but as he passed, the old man lifted his head, revealing a face with no eyes. Just two hollow black sockets staring straight at him. Roy slammed on the gas. He didn't want to believe what he had seen. Maybe an optical illusion? Fatigue? Yes, fatigue. That's what he told himself. The oddities continued. A few minutes later, he noticed something in a nearby field that looked like a scarecrow, a tall figure with outstretched arms. But as he took a closer look, he realized it wasn't a scarecrow. It was a person, or what used to be a person. It stood motionless, its skin shriveled and torn as if eaten by worms, yet its eyes were too alive for a corpse, and it was staring right at him. Roy pressed the gas again, his heart pounding. Now he just wanted to get out of here. A few miles later, he heard a strange sound. It was as if someone was whispering right in his ear, but he was alone in the car. He turned on the radio, but it only crackled, spewing eerie fragments of words. "You are not alone. You are not alone." He quickly turned it off. Another 20 minutes passed when he saw headlights ahead. Relief washed over him. Finally, another car. He flashed his lights, hoping for some connection to reality. The car approached, but as they drew level, Roy felt his blood freeze. The driver of the other car looked exactly like him. Even his clothes were identical, and his face was twisted in horror. Roy screamed. His double screamed too. At that moment, their cars passed each other, and the headlights vanished into the darkness. The village of Oak Hill greeted him with silence. He stopped the car on the main street, trying to catch his breath. Everything looked normal. Houses with warm-lit windows, an old bar, a couple of shops. He stepped out, his hands trembling as he reached for his phone. No signal. "Need some help?" a voice asked. Roy spun around. A man in a cowboy hat stood before him, a cigarette dangling from his lips. There wasn't a hint of surprise on his face. Roy trailed off. What could he say? "I think I saw myself." "You took the country road?" the man asked, exhaling smoke. Roy nodded. "Then you're fine. Just don't look back. Sometimes they follow those who notice them." "Who?" Roy whispered. The man just smirked. "A legend. Old road spirits. Not everyone sees them, but if you do, it's best not to talk about it. They like those who talk." Roy swallowed hard. His palms were damp with sweat. "Welcome to Oak Hill," the man said, tossing his cigarette to the ground and grinding it out with his boot. Roy glanced back at the road he had come from. In the darkness, a figure flickered. Tall, thin, almost transparent. He quickly turned away. No one said the road had let him go.